I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Feel present.
Mhm. When I think about the amount of time that has passed based on how long you knew R. Kelly, I think so many people have wanted to hear from you for so long. How does it feel to not be Jane Doe anymore?
It feels very rewarding. It feels very liberating, um, which was a part of the reason why I wanted to write this book because I really wanted to live in my true skin, in my true self.
And your true self today is what?
My true self today is Rashona Landfair, not Jane Doe, not Sean. It's who I am as a person, who I am as a mother, a friend, a daughter, a colleague, etc.
You dedicate this book to your dad, your son, and you say your inner self.
hmm
Who else would you say this book is for?
This book is for every person who has gone through some sort of trauma or some sort of uncomfortable moment in their life where they blamed themselves, were ashamed or embarrassed to live in their true skin and just really took the faults of other people and, kind of hid behind that. So it was just really freeing for me. And I wanted to share my experience with people who have been in similar situations.
You obviously talk in this book about how it started. You don't start at the moment people start talking about you or knowing anything about who you are and who you're associated with. But you describe at length how it started. You mention your aunt, the artist Sparkle, who used to work with R. Kelly. I
Mm.
want to read some of it from, I think it was page 18. You say in the book, the next time we're at the studio, this is what you say, Sparkle said. You say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather. Aunt Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather. This
What? What? Your auntie? Your auntie, your aunt, your blood. Well, maybe if it's maybe blood or or by marriage, whichever one. But either way, your auntie told you to sit on this man's lap and rub his head. Oh, what the?
instruction seemed sort of weird since I hadn't sat on his lap before, but I didn't question it. When you think back, is that where it all begins? Is that the start?
That is the start. That is the start of him entering into my life in a different way than just being an artist or hanging out at the studio. It became more personable at that moment.
Because you yourself were an artist. You were a part of a rap group. You had toured Europe, you'd been to Europe,
hmm
and it was your aunt, you said, that introduced the family to R. Kelly because he's this successful artist from Chicago. At this time, he's really starting to blow up. He left the group that he was in,
hmm
and it was interesting, exhilarating, fun to be around him, is kind of how you describe it in the beginning. I mean, this is a big superstar, and you have
Yes.
access to him like, hey, I want to hang out in the studio.
hmm
And at the time, in the beginning, he's treating you like a normal, excited kid that wants to learn more about the business.
Correct.
So, when do things turn? And I know you go into great detail,
hmm
the early stages and why this is so complicated, your mindset
hmm
at that time.
Well, during the time that I met him, I'm also a teenage girl who's going through puberty. And so some of the things that I was thinking or feeling were just normal expressions um, to, my maturity level at the time. And so it starts very innocent. It starts, you know, being mesmerized and, like you said, like admiring this person. And then, it kind of gets a little deeper or more complicated when that person is able to, see what you can't see, the way you're developing, your conversation, your personality traits. So it kind of became more complicated when he started analyzing me and, the things that I was going through and who I.
Oh, that shit is sickening, bro. Real talk. That shit is sick, bro. Like niggas, like dudes really out here. They really out here preying on these teenagers, dog. What the fuck is wrong with people, bro? All these thought pockets out here in the world, bro. That's of age. You got these 40-year-old thought pockets. You got these 30-year-old thought pockets. You got these middle and above the higher age 20s thought pockets, 50-year-old thought pockets out here. Because mind you, a lot of these chicks out here, they saying fuck it, they want to be thought pockets. You got all these thought pockets out here in the world, and you want to focus on the teenager.
Was becoming as a person. And again, I
What else,
was
though?
excited and mesmerized to, be under his wing and to be a part of his habitat. So that's how things kind of unfolded.
So we know that things progress beyond looking out for you as almost like a goddaughter, and it turns into something more than that. I want to go and stay with your aunt Sparkle, who I've interviewed before.
Hmm.
And she was the first person to really sort of say, you need to go check over there. Something's not right.
Right.
I think there's something going on that should not be going on.
Hmm.
In the book, you describe social services coming to your home to do a welfare check.
Hmm.
And your parents are shocked. They think perhaps maybe she's just jealous because she's no longer associated with R. Kelly. And then obviously 2001, 2002, we're talking about the tape. But why don't you think anyone believed your Aunt Sparkle when she first raised a red flag about a possible inappropriate relationship?
I don't think they believed her because there were no obvious signs of what was actually taking place. It was more coming from her end, maybe looking like a motive from, like you said, not being around him. And those kind of questions or concerns didn't happen until she was no longer a part of, his camp or the things that were taking place, her as an artist. That's when those questions started to raise.
Chapter 7, you call it stress fractures. And you say it was a couple of weeks before your 17th birthday. You say, Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the
This
country.
shit is crazy, bro.
Your reaction to that when you think about hearing those words from R. Kelly, that this tape is out there and you were 14 years old?
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused. Didn't know what to expect. Um, and I was embarrassed.
That's fair.
I want to read part of that in terms of just sort of what you were feeling at that time, because at some point, the remedy for this, according to you refer to him as Robert in the book, is that he wants to tell your parents.
Hmm.
And you say, Robert told me how he would tell my parents the truth
Hmm.
about us. My mom and I were in one room, and my dad and Robert were in another. You go on to say some other things, but eventually you get to this part. After a while, Dad came storming out of the room, crying hysterically and cursing, saying to R. Kelly, You're sick. I can't rock with you. I can't help you. You need to get help. He yelled at Robert, who followed us into the elevator and was on his knees crying. Man, I'm sorry. I just love her.
That's some crazy
So
shit, boy.
the
This
turning
nigga
point,
said, I just love, boy, these niggas are sick, bro. No, like real shit. That's sickening, bro. What?
from innocent goddaughter running around just trying to learn the music industry to something more like you're trying to make sense of why he's calling you and saying, what are you wearing? This type of thing. To now you're confronted with something that's out there and he's saying the solution is just tell them. I know it looks crazy, but I believe you're my angel, as you refer to in the book. And your dad initially is upset. He's crying. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Why wasn't that the moment when you look back where you were not allowed to see R. Kelly anymore, be around him? Take us to why it was so complicated for you and your family and what you said to your parents.
It was very complicated. My dad wanted to make the right decision, and he was not okay with anything that took place.
Right.
I was more under Robert's brainwash. I was more under his spell, and
That's
he
crazy.
utilized me against my parents, making threats of suicide and doing different things out of desperation to convince them to not turn on him. And because I had been groomed for so long to carry out this mission and also not want that girl on the videotape to be myself, I thought in my little mind that maybe that was the best approach. We felt more protected and had more resources and help through him than taking matters into our own hands with this celebrity and the industry and not wanting to be the people to end R. Kelly and deal with hatred and many things. So, I mean, I'm not here to sugarcoat any shortcomings of my parents or myself, but at the time, that's what that's what made us feel the safest.
That's
You felt
crazy.
as though
That's
R.
crazy.
Kelly was holding all of the cards, had all of the power.
He did.
How did you make peace with your parents later? Because that's also something, I mean, even at the beginning of this interview, speaking of dedicating the book
Hmm.
to him, and my condolences because I know he passed away in 2021. But how were you able at this age to make peace with everything that's happened and your parents' involvement?
When you become a parent, you have a different way of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
But I also look at the other women and the other survivors and the other, people who, he dealt with, who lost total communication with their parents and their families and literally lived everything that he made them think or everything that they made him feel.
Yeah.
So, in a sense of why it might be presented to look a certain way, my parents actually saved me.
Mm.
They're the reason why I'm sitting here today. Because if it had not been for them, if I lost complete communication with them and I was literally living his dreams, his brain, his way of thinking, I don't know where I would be
Hmm.
mentally, physically, or emotionally.
When the trial started,
Dog, that's some wild shit, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. That is wild. That is wild, bro. I don't care if you got money. I don't care, man. No, that shit just not okay.
and the questions from federal investigators are coming.
Mhm.
When you look back again, so much of this is people being able to try and understand it through your lens. You're
Right.
living it. You're the only one with this story. Why not tell the truth in 2002 or 2008 when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets,
Mm.
not telling the truth. But again,
Still,
when
that shame that she had, and I would say that shame, and probably she was still under his spell a little bit. That's what I think. That's probably why she didn't say anything. She was still under he still had a spell on her. She didn't want to expose herself because she just wasn't comfortable. She probably was still embarrassed and things like that. So that's probably why she didn't say anything. So it was hard. I get it. I get it. As Snow says, the craziest part to me is this was a man of means, attractive swag that females would give him the time of day. Grown women, one, why do you young? Two, why so close to home? That's what I'm saying though. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, bro, you creme de la creme. Like, you top dog at this point. You top dog at this point. You can have any woman you could have wanted. You can have any woman. Why are you choosing these young girls, bro? Real talk. Time says, I'm kind of confused. We have kids who grew up without their fathers and say, where was you? Where was you? Can you imagine if this was a single dad that gave his daughter to R. Kelly? Do you think she forgave her father? Nah, she wouldn't. She wouldn't forgive her father at all. She wouldn't. And my thing, but here's my thing too. That's a great question too, time, because my thing is, what the fuck was said to the point where he go out the room, the father comes out of the room crying and cursing and shit. Like, fam, what you mean? No, my nigga, you got to go. Nah, fuck that. You staying in the house. That nigga can leave. Right the fuck now. You ain't going no goddamn where. You're not going nowhere. Get the fuck out my house, bro. Get out my house. Facts. Talking about you love her. Nigga, boy, you about to get out. Get out. Hey, you feel me? Get out. Get out. You up here fucking around with teenagers, bro? You should have called the cops, right? Should have called the police right then and there. Should have said, "Nah, man. I got this dude R. Kelly at my house talking about he loved my girl, my daughter. Yeah, he a predator, bro. He got to go. Come and get him. Come and get him. Got to go. Fucking with kids, nah, bro. You can't be fucking with kids, bro. No, no, no. This is what I don't understand. We live in a world where women are independent, strong, and voice their opinion. What mother will let that happen? What mother will let that happen? Society already got their mind set up on fathers, not moms. Yeah,
And I have been trained and groomed since I was age 13. I started believing the lies that I was telling. It was very foggy and unclear on what I really felt versus what was right or what was wrong. And even in moments where I despised Robert, I still lied for him.
yep.
When I look back at that trial, even this
Still
idea
had you under
that
that spell.
people who were not part of the jury were able to see some of that video,
Hmm.
What up,
and
Bull City?
the jokes that came from the video, because we're talking about seeing a person at the time, not knowing who it is
Hmm.
for sure, um, being urinated on and talked about. Do you look at even the justice system as not protecting you to some extent? I mean, thinking about that video being played before a gallery of everyday citizens.
I definitely think things could have been handled differently. I'm happy I wasn't there to witness everyone um, watching that.
Yeah,
Um, to the world imagery, I was not made to be a victim. I was a mockery. And that was very difficult to digest. It was very disheartening to know that my body was just being displayed and tossed around. And, when I look back on it, I wish things could have been done differently, but those are all of the things that I had to internalize.
How were you able to sit through the trial in the parking lot? Because I think to know that you were so close to the trial that could have put R. Kelly away back then, and listen to his instruction. Don't watch television.
Hmm.
Don't read the paper. I mean, this wasn't the same, social media wasn't a thing in 2008 the
Right.
way that it is now.
oh, if social
Um,
media, oh, best believe,
but
best believe. Listen, R. Kelly would have been in jail so fast if social media was what it was today. It would have been all hell for him. It would have been all hell for him. R. Kelly is no different than Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, John Wayne, and Batman in the White House who was connected to Epstein. Yeah, I agree. He ain't no different. I agree. He ain't no different.
take us back to, and I know you're going to get a lot of these types of questions
Hmm.
because most of this book is based on the past and how you've been able to come out of it. But take us back to what it was like being in a van and knowing that just a few hundred feet away, his life was on the line.
That was very scary. I didn't understand why he wanted me there, why he made those choices, but I just went with the program.
Mm.
It was very difficult because I would also be paranoid. Like, What if somebody raids the bus? Or what if, the wrong person walks on here? Um, but I don't know if he did it for comfort of not wanting, of being afraid of me just having the freedom to just walk out if I wanted to.
Right.
But he kept me very close in that way.
What was your reaction
That's crazy.
to that 2008 not guilty verdict? You talk about it in the book, but tell us how you were really feeling at that time.
I felt happy for him. I didn't want to see his career end. I didn't want to see him taken from his family. I thought things were going to change for him, for us. I thought things would just get a lot better. I thought this was our freedom to just be family and to, all of the different traumas and me having to hide and disguise myself and be lonely and away from my family. I thought that was closure to all of the negative things that he kind of made me feel like had to happen during this case that lasted for so many years.
And at this point, too, you're in your 20s.
Right.
So you're thinking, yeah, this stuff happened, but, this is our chance to reset.
Right.
But what actually happened?
Things got worse.
What?
And then I started realizing that I had been used and utilized for a purpose, that I was a placeholder, that I was here to make sure Robert didn't go to jail. Not because he loved me, not because he was my protector, or because I was his angel. My purpose was done. He was finished.
And you talk about moving out and starting your own, going on vacation, really getting a taste of what it is to be independent. But even though you left R. Kelly, you left the home, you never quite left his orbit. Explain.
That was definitely me operating out of cognitive dissonance. It was more so like I knew things were wrong. I knew everything that I went through, but this is all I've known for the majority of my life. This is the behavior that was my normal and that I felt like was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of afraid to operate outside of him. I didn't know what to do. I had to literally learn myself from a 12-year-old girl up into who I was to today.
Yeah.
Man, that's some crazy work, boy. That's some crazy work, dog. Man, these niggas are insane. Listen, the thing is, before R. Kelly got the money, this is what I believe. I believe even before R. Kelly got the money, got the fame, all of that shit, I believe R. Kelly was already like that. The thing is, the money is it brings out it brings out more of who you already are. Real talk. It brings out who you are, who you were already. That's all the money does. People say you change. Nah. In some cases, some people do change. Some people say, you know what, man, I got more money now. I gotta move a little bit different than what I was when I didn't have the money. So I gotta really be careful who I have around me, my environment, the people that I'm rocking with, the people I'm talking to. I gotta be careful. I gotta look, I gotta make sure I got the right people around me so that way I can continue to keep elevating and there ain't no snakes in the grass, right? But then there are other individuals who just expose more of what they already were. Because now they got the money, they feel as if they can't be touched. They feel as if they're invincible and they can do whatever it is that they want to, and nobody's ever gonna hold them accountable. But man, you crazy. You crazy. You crazy. That shit's wild, man. I feel bad. I feel bad for her though. But I hope everything works out for her. I think she'll be fine. I think she still has a lot of healing to do. I know she's healed a lot, but I think she's still gonna have more. I honestly believe he probably still got a little bit attached to it, just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. But she'll be fine though. She'll be 110% fine. She continue to keep growing, keep pushing. She got a kid, she got a life and all that shit now, but I think she'll be just fine.